Before we even talk about the ADA price prediction, I'm going to give you a very specific number, even kind of a time frame. I'm going to bring into play a lot of data that I think really supports this price prediction. I want to say something. This is part one. I think this is a more conservative price prediction based on the data that I'm using. And it's part one because I think there are a lot of other factors that I'm not really going to speak about in this video that could play into ADA surpassing what I'm going to discuss in this video. So I just want to say that right off the bat. This is a more conservative price prediction. This is part one, meaning I will be doing probably another video discussing a price prediction for the next bull market high for ADA. The other thing I want to point out right off the bat is this, and I want to just make a very firm statement because this is what I think. This is my opinion. This is how I see things. I consistently say that I think ADA is going to once again outperform markets, and I really think that. And to give you an idea of what that looks like, we're going to discuss this environment where Bitcoin's, breaking $100,000, $125,000 Bitcoin, right? And that's kind of based off of this article. Bitcoin could rally to $125,000 by end of 2024. This was just from today. This was an article from today. So this is brand new. We're going to use that. But just keep it in mind, that's around on the Bitcoin chart, 300% gains. 300% gains. ADA, and the number we're going to discuss, is going to massively outperform that number. The other thing I want to mention is Ethereum. I think Ethereum will have a nice bull market. I think Ethereum will break $1 trillion market cap. What a huge success story for Ethereum to do that. $10,000 Ethereum, 100% in play. That's around over 400% gains. The ADA price prediction I'm going to mention in this video, which I think is realistic, will massively outperform that as well. And I want to make note of that because this is what I think is going to happen. Now let's kind of get into the details here. I did a video, if we look at the ADA chart, I did a video back here in 2020. It was June 2020. ADA was around 8 cents. I did a video. I'm not going to show a clip or anything. This is the video. When ADA was 8 cents, I was doing something similar to what I'm doing today. And I was speculating a $3.33 all-time high for ADA. It sounded crazy at the time. I am sure it sounded crazy. Even if you go to the ADA BTC chart, you can actually see in June of 2020, ADA is right around the same dominance on the BTC chart as it is right now. So I think this is a really good time to do this price prediction for ADA. Did ADA get to $3.33 based on the data that I used then? It didn't get to $3.33, but it broke $3. And when you're looking at a price of around 8 cents to $3, we saw like 3,500% gains for ADA from that video. So using very similar data, I'm going to break down a price prediction. And it actually brings in Bitcoin and Ethereum to get this kind of realistic price prediction. I'm going to give you a very specific number. So let's start here. I want to start with the Bitcoin dominance chart for important context. Everything we're going to discuss is reserved for the next bull market. That is post 2024 halving. We have a ways to go. Even right now, Bitcoin dominance on the rise. There's potentially more room to the upside. I'm leaving room up to 65. So 60 to 65% dominance for Bitcoin in play. What's important to me is post this white line. That's post the Bitcoin halving. And you can just see previous bull markets. This is what the bull markets look like. And just look at what Bitcoin dominance does. Bitcoin dominance falls in the bull markets. If we're talking about when is alt season, when's alt season going to get here? Yes, alts can pump in the time being leading into the next bull market. But truly, it's the bull markets that is alt season. And so this is what we're really waiting for. This time frame post 2024 halving. So from a time frame perspective, we have some time. I just want to point that out right now. Because I'm making this price prediction video that really shows ADA at a very nice price, this isn't to say that there's not going to be some pain before we even get close to this, right? Maybe more downside, maybe more sideways trading, more pain could be in play. So I want to make note of that. Let's go to the ADA BTC chart and look at this. So in that price prediction video I did in 2020, I was really using, and at the time it was speculative, right? Obviously, I did the video here. We didn't have any of this move, but we were discussing this general area to the upside. And that's really just taking the all-time high of the ADA BTC pair and using it again, right? And so we're going to do the same thing for this video, and we're just going to call it 0.00006 on this ADA BTC chart. It's very simple. If Bitcoin's in this environment where we're seeing Bitcoin hit $125,000 in the next bull market, and ADA is really just performing well on, and alts in general performing well against Bitcoin, 0.00006, and there's more data to this that's very compelling, is $7.50. $7.50 ADA to reach this level again in a world where Bitcoin is $125,000. Now I want to go over to Ethereum because this really ties into play something we've discussed a lot on my YouTube channel. And that is to say this. Right now, as you know, Cardano DeFi is coming online. You can even just see total value locked $162 million. It is early days for Cardano. If we go look at Ethereum, I just want to point something out to you. Ethereum was, look at this, back in 2019 here, just over $200 million total value locked. It was just getting ready to explode. And what happened? It exploded. It absolutely exploded. Ethereum DeFi came online. We have a very similar thing happening with Cardano right now. We're in a similar kind of atmosphere. So if we go back to the Ethereum chart, what happened to Ethereum value? Ethereum broke $500 billion market cap in the last bull cycle. So I talk a lot about the fact that if you go to an ADA chart, I genuinely think a $500 billion market cap is in play for ADA, right? Now, it's very obvious. A $500 billion market cap for ADA, it's $15. So in part one of this price prediction video, we're assuming, based on Bitcoin data, Bitcoin dominance data, ADA BTC pair, we're assuming that ADA could reach a conservative $7.50 price in the next cycle. If that were the case, that means if we go back to the ADA charts, ADA on this chart would hit a $7.50 price, half of $500 billion market cap. So this is to say, conservatively, ADA doesn't even achieve $500 billion market cap, which I think is 100% fair to say. Ethereum was a first mover. For many, many years, everybody pretty much just knew Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin, right? So there's a very compelling case to say that ADA might not reach $500 billion market cap. That's very realistic to say that. But at the same time, I think it's very realistic to say, okay, and I think it's fair to say, okay, maybe it won't. Maybe it won't reach 500 billion. But if it reaches half of that, $250 billion market cap, that's a $7.50 ADA. So we have two things now that I really think play into and tie into this price prediction, this part one price prediction at least, $7.50. It's ADA achieving half of 500 billion, meaning half of what Ethereum achieved in the last bull market, at the same time hitting kind of this all-time high on ADA BTC while Bitcoin's hovering in the $125,000 range. I think it's a very realistic scenario. Now, I want to just point something out. If you look at ADA, and we can go to CoinMarketCap to do this, it'll be probably better visualization. We go to market cap, we click all, and we just look. In the last bull market, ADA, it hit $93 billion. So we were just under $100 billion market cap for ADA. So when we're looking at this chart, ADA just under 100 billion. So this next bull market and this price target of $7.50, I think it's very conservative just to say when ADA does get up there, it's obviously it'll be over double, but it's just over doubling what it achieved in the last cycle. And so this area, $7.50 on this chart, playing into Ethereum charts, playing into the story of Bitcoin dominance and the ADA BTC pair, I think is extremely realistic. But I do mention that this is part one because there are other things happening within the crypto space. There are other narratives developing even as I do this video that I think could very much tie into Cardano and ADA getting a really big piece of the big money that is coming into crypto, right? And so $250 billion for ADA, it's a $7.50 ADA. But there are other factors that could that could really drive ADA to surpass those numbers. And I think we can reserve that for another video. But I thought this would be a really nice, simple starting point in terms of presenting some very easy to digest data that plays into the next all-time high. And I think most importantly, what I should do from where we are right now, we're looking at gains of around 2,500%. So we looked at Ethereum, 400%, 400+% gains. We looked at Bitcoin, around 300% gains. And in this speculative scenario where ADA is reaching $7.50, you can clearly see how it is once again outperforming both. And so from the level that we are at right now, I think there's so much room for opportunity for Cardano ADA, not to mention all of the fundamentals that are happening right now within the ecosystem. Very bullish on Cardano, as you can see, but this is just the way that I see things. That's all it is. And this is kind of my speculative prediction, at least one of them. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below, everybody. I really appreciate all of you. Make sure to subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Turn the notification on so you get these videos as they come out. And I'll see you all in the next video. God bless.